Should your urgent care center be open 365 days a year? Find out next on Just Checking In. Happy Memorial Day. This is Alan Ayers and I am just checking in, and today I'm going to be talking to you about holiday hours. So should your center be open today, Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, etc.? So in urgent care, we see three general approaches to operating hours. Given that consumers really view urgent care as being access and convenience, a number of multi-unit operators have just said we're going to be open 365 days a year. So if you look at MD Now in South Florida, Physicians Immediate Care, Physicians Urgent Care in the Chicago area, or Patient First on the East Coast, they have built their entire brand around being open 365 days a year. We have a doctor on site whenever you need us, or any day of the year that you need us. And from a branding perspective, that's great. That's like the 24/7 Walmart Supercenter. They're available whenever consumers have an urgent care need. So ideally, an urgent care center should be open 365 days a year. Now, when considering hours, I would encourage you to look at the retail around your center. So if you're located along a retail strip, I would ask what holidays are those retailers open. And odds are on all the minor holidays, so your Memorial Day, Labor Day, Veterans Day, etc., your chain supermarkets, Kroger, Safeway, your big box stores, the Walmart, Target, as well as your corner drugstores, your CVS and Walgreens, odds are they're going to be open on all those holidays. Well, if a consumer views urgent care as retail, you're sitting in a retail setting and all the other retailers are open, consumers' expectations naturally will be that you will be open those days. So what we've seen is, apart from centers that are open 365 days a year, the more common model is that we have centers that are open maybe 362, 360 days a year, open on minor holidays, but closed on the major holidays, which would be Thanksgiving, Christmas, maybe the 4th of July, maybe Easter, where there's no consumer expectation that they would be open, and it would be very difficult to staff the centers on those days anyway. And then after that, we have centers that are closed on holidays. And I generally consider that a negative. If you think about a holiday like Memorial Day, people are out and active. They're going to golf tournaments, they're playing soccer in the park, they're going to the beach, they're having picnics, they're engaged in activities that are more likely to lead to some kind of injury or illness and urgent care needs. So I would think, if anything, demand for urgent care would be much greater on a day like Memorial Day. Consumers just need to know that you're open. So if you're a center that's closed on holidays, closed on minor holidays as well as major holidays, I would really encourage you to look at expanding your hours. And a way to do that is by, to build a business case for holiday hours, you want to look at the variable cost of being open. So if you think about your profit and loss statement, there's certain fixed costs that you're going to pay regardless. Your rent, much of your utilities, certain expenses are sunk regardless of whether you're open on a holiday or not. So the only added expense of being open on a holiday really is the cost of labor, and that could be a physician, a medical assistant, and a radiology technician who, with the MA, is cross-trained at the front desk. So the incremental labor cost per hour really is not typically that significant, but with the starting point of understanding your labor cost of being open on the holidays, then you can divide your net revenue or your average revenue per visit to determine how many visits you would need to make to break even on the holiday, and then you can build a business case for being open on that day. Now, if you are going to be open on a holiday, you need to advertise the fact. So it's kind of like if the tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it. If you're open on a holiday and no one knows, does it really matter? You're going to get patient volume. But I wouldn't really count that holiday advertising towards the incremental cost of being open, because your center has to advertise anyway. And so if you're buying a weekly ad in your community shopper, or if you're doing advertising on the internet, you just shift your advertising over a 2 to 3 week period. Hey, we're open on Thanksgiving, we're here when you need us, to raise awareness before the fact. And then oftentimes we see centers will put signs, banners, just to signs on the street to raise awareness of existing patients in drive-by traffic that they're open on that day. That can only help drive volume on the holiday, but it also brands the center. So if somebody sees an ad, oh, the center's open on Thanksgiving, I don't need the center on Thanksgiving, but a couple months later, maybe December 15th, I remember seeing the ad. So advertising for holidays, it benefits the center overall and really wouldn't be considered part of the incremental cost of being open on the holiday. So your center ideally should be open 365 days a year. If that's not feasible, you should at least be open on the minor holidays. And if you are currently closed on holidays, I would encourage this approach of looking at a one-day profit and loss statement to determine whether you should expand your hours to help better serve patients on days like today. So that's all I have for today. Again, this is Alan Ayers, just checking in. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact us at Practice Velocity using the email address on your screen. Thanks again, and until next time, just checking in.